Alright, yesterday I worked on the lower control arm. I changed the lower control arm from the passenger side, and from working on that I learned a couple things, and just want to share here with you. So hopefully I can save you some grief and to save you some time. Don't have to make the same mistakes I made. Alright, so today we're gonna work on the driver side. Here's the part. Before you start, definitely get your tools right. There are two types of ball joint separators. Go ahead and get both. You can borrow them from the local auto parts store. They don't charge you anything. You just put a deposit down and return them. Get your money back. Alright, let's get started. Standard safety procedures apply. You need to raise the both passenger side and driver side of the car, because later on you need to rotate the steering mechanism to wiggle the lower control arm in. Don't forget these. Safety first. Just to give you an idea why I decided to change the lower control arm, you see the on the brake caliper holder, there's a mark here. I do hear a little noise when I drive. Alright, now we look at the wheel. It has a scratch inside. That is a sign that the control arm is worn out, and it's not keeping the wheel stable. Alright. Okay, now the part is exposed. See, this is the vertical bushing. The middle one. And the ball joint. I got some backlight here, so it's not very clear. Anyways, first thing you do is spray some penetrating oil on the nut side of these joints. Alright. $19mm is going to be very useful for this car. All three nuts are 19mm. So I measured about 15mm. That's from the top surface of the knuckle to the flat end of the bolt. Alright, so when I install it, I need to come back to 15mm. Next, we're going to loosen up this guy here in the middle. Just loosen up, don't remove it. And loosen up this one too. Time to take care of this ball joint now. Use the ball joint popper. Alright, it's popped. Remove the bushing bolts that's already been loosened up. Let's get some efficiency here. Now you just get behind here, use both hands, just press it down. That's out of place. Now this piece could be pretty difficult. Let's see. I already loosened it up. So what you do is use this, gently pry it, and then well, pull it out. There you go. Now it's out. Wiggle it to pull the last piece out. Gentle, gentle. There you go. That's the penetrating oil left over in there. It's not leak. So you can see this bushing is pretty bad. It's all cracked. So now you see these two locations where the bushings fit. When you reinstall it, the new bushing needs to line up with the starting hole and the ending hole. So now I have the old and new piece laying together. Look the same, except this crown nut is actually not 19mm, so you gotta use a different socket. And again, another thing I want to mention here is I measure the length of the ball joint rod, ball joint bolt, I mean, from the base to the tip. They're the same distance, same length, so I can trust that 15mm that I measured earlier. Be extremely careful with this rubber boot. It's retained by a retainer ring on the bottom, and yesterday somehow, I don't know how I did it, but I pulled it off the base, and it was extremely difficult to put it back together because it's packed with grease inside, and it's going to be very slippery, very difficult to put it back. One thing as a good practice is to thread it in by itself first to make sure there's nothing damaged, no threads damaged. And also, don't never forget NTCs. You can use a screwdriver to help alignment. Now the middle one. This middle piece could be pretty tricky, but just to keep trying, you'll get it. Actually, it takes quite a bit to get it lined up, but it's lined up now. So just go in, couple threads. Don't tighten it up, just thread it in, hold it in place. Now the fun part. I have the nut on it, or the crown nut on it, to protect the threads. And now I need to remove it. All right. Okay. Okay, now everything is in place. We need to torque it down. According to the torque spec, all except 2007 Acura is 69 foot-pounds for the subframe bolts, and ball joint to steering knuckle is 43 to 51 foot-pounds, and 2007 Acura would be higher. I think it's 76 to 83. So we're going to torque it down. Since I cannot fit a torque wrench to this tight spot, I am going to just tighten it down to 15 millimeters. And 43 to 51 foot-pound is pretty snug. I think that's about right, not over tightening. And let me measure it. It's pretty close. 15 millimeter. Okay, lessons learned. There's a hole in the bolt. So before I pop it into place, I did not make sure it's pointing front and back, so I have enough room to insert this cotter pin. Now I don't have enough room to go in there and bend the cotter pin. So make sure you don't do that before you pop this ball joint into the knuckle. Rotate the hole so it's lined up. You have enough room for the cotter pin. Alright, I'm going to be lazy today. I just put the original pin that I removed from the original piece back into place and twist it together. Now next I'm going to need to torque down the intermediate bolts. 69 foot-pounds. Right. Good.